So welcome to part 2 of this video. As usual, I just want to put up some disclaimers here on the screen because I really don't think anyone needs this much makeup. But anyway, if you haven't seen the other parts of this series, make sure you go check them out. Let's start. This is too many powders for one person, but let's start with some pressed powders first. Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush, flawless finish. I can't get it open. Beautiful, flawless, like it says. I love it. I really love it. It's like one of my favorite powders. Honestly, it just blurs out the skin. It doesn't look cakey. Like, powder is amazing. Like, look at that. Can you see that? Like, already it looks blurred. Looks more refined. Looks poreless. Looks perfect. Love it. Another 2 cell powders, Pat McGrath Labs. Oh, so good. It's just so good. It's got a little bit of shine to it. Like, not shiny as in glittery, but it's a satin finish type of powder rather than like a super matte type of powder. And as I'm touching it now and putting it on my skin, it's just so soft. It's so soft. And this one is just perfect for under the eyes to brighten things up. God, yes. These ones do feel smoother than a Charlotte Tilbury, which is why I prefer them just a little bit more. Another Marc Jacobs product. This is a nice powder actually, but it definitely is a little bit glittery. It's definitely got some glitter particles in it. And I feel like it's similar to Hourglass in that sense, that it gives the skin a glow. It's definitely not a completely matte powder. And there we go. It's Marc Jacobs though. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Bobbi Brown. This is like the only powder I've hit pan on because it's the oldest powder that I have, and it's pretty good. It feels really silky, really smooth. People don't talk about this powder. I'm not sure if it's still available. It's a sheer finish pressed powder, mine in shade Soft Sand. Like, it is like a really good performing powder, but I do think compared to the other stuff in my collection, I prefer them. So the Laura Mercier loose setting powder in the shade Translucent, I don't get a hype. I really don't get a hype. I prefer this as a loose setting powder. I prefer this as a loose setting powder. This is fine, but it's not worth the hype in my opinion. Completely forgot to talk about the Kosas Cloud Set powder. So I have mine in the shade Breezy. It's a good powder, I guess, but I don't know. Again, I feel like it's just a little bit overhyped. Like, as I'm feeling it, it definitely doesn't feel as silky as a Pat McGrath. And like I said before, I feel like this with a concealer under my eyes makes my mascara smudge. I don't know why. And also sometimes I feel like with this powder, I will put loads on and I don't feel like I see an effect. And I guess that's kind of the point, in that like everyone says, oh, you just like keep going, it doesn't look cakey. But I want to see something, right? I want to see this powder blurring my face. I don't see that. And the last pressed powder in my collection is the Ciate London. This one smells like watermelon. I really like it. It's a white powder, so it's good for brightening. The thing is though, I prefer the Pat McGrath. This is not bad, but I just prefer the Pat McGrath. It actually has a really pretty glow to it as well. The smell is amazing. Like, if you want to smell like a watermelon, buy this powder. Not like a real watermelon, like a watermelon sweet watermelon. Okay, back to loose powders. I've used this quite a few times, but it doesn't look like I've used this at all. The RCMA No Color powder blurs everything. It doesn't look cakey. I don't know what else to say. It's really a good classic, and for the amount that you get, you can wear it for a lifetime. You don't need anything else. So I did try to use up this NARS Translucent Setting Powder in Crystal. I think the pressed version of this is a little bit more popular. This one does give you really terrible flashback, but it blurs the skin beautifully, sets concealer beautifully. This is the same really, but this is an excellent powder as well. Like, I just think these actually perform better than Laura Mercier in my opinion. I really don't understand why the Laura Mercier is just so hyped up. So these two are the same thing. This is just a travel size version of the Becca Hydra Mist. I've not opened this. The Becca Hydra Mist, it's really cool. Like, I remember watching videos on this and having it feeling like water. And I think now Refi Beauty has the same thing. But the problem is the water effect only lasts for so long. I think that it really only lasts for like a couple weeks or so. And then it just feels like any other powder. But anyway, you can't get this anymore. So why am I banging on about it? And another Becca product is the under eye. So another white powder. That's good. Setting sprays. Okay, right. So setting sprays. This is just too much. This is not a setting spray. What are you doing here? Go away. NYX Dewy Finish. I don't know. It's not that dewy. Use about half of it. It's a good product for what it is, but I can't say that it makes things long lasting. Now, if you want something dewy, this is your guy. This is the Linda Hallberg Glow Mist. And I think, can you see how there's like an oily layer? So that's what makes it dewy, folks. If you really want to take a cool photo or look wet and sweaty, this is the product for you. That doesn't sound appealing though, does it? Looking wet and sweaty. But if I just show you, so you shake it up and you mix this and you spray it. The spray itself is not that fine. I'm just gonna kind of like let it settle. It doesn't set makeup. It literally just makes you look sweaty. And there was definitely a time when I was super into that. And that's why I kind of bought the product. Can you see how kind of dewy my arm is? Can you see that shine? Yeah, that's what this product does. So if that's something you're after, then this is your guy. I forgot I had this hiding as well. So this is a Spectrum Glowful Hydrating and Illuminating Mist. You know how I just showed you this one? Like, it looks dewy. Now this is trying to be that, but failing because it just sprays glitter on your face. And you can see there are mixing balls in this. And this is just like a gold metallic eyeshadow that got mixed in the setting spray. It just looks terrible when I use it on my face because I can just see the glitter particles. What I try to do is not mix it and spray, but it still does the same thing. Do not recommend. Another Becca Skin Love Glow Shield Prime and Set Mist. It smells so strong, so I don't actually like it. Urban Decay All Nighter. This is like almost finished. I don't think it makes my makeup last that long, and I don't find my makeup to be transfer proof with this, but it definitely does mesh my powders together. It's got a great spray as well. It's definitely a good classic. The L'Oreal Shake and Glow. Again, I can't say that it makes my makeup last that long, and I'm trying to use it up. You can see I only have a little bit left actually. The Everyday Vacay Ciaté London's. This spray is too aggressive. It has a coconut smell. Again, it kind of helps me mesh the powders together to my face, makes my skin look a little bit more refined, but I don't think it prolongs my makeup. Now, if you want something that doesn't make your makeup transfer and really locks it in, this is what you want. This is the Kryolan Professional Makeup Fixing Spray. It's basically like hairspray for your face. And I wore this on my wedding day, and when I hugged people, I didn't get foundation on their jackets or their clothes. And that's what I wanted. And I can definitely recommend this. So this is my liquid blush collection. And let's just quickly talk about the Lisa Eldridge liquid blushes. I think she's restocking them in the spring. I have all 6 shades. If you want to see a review and comparison of the shades, go check out my video. I love this blush. Aside from the annoying packaging, the color, the finish, the lasting power, this lasts all day. Like, this really lasts all day on my skin because it goes on, so it squirts out like a cream, but once you rub it in, it's more like a powder, and I think that's why it lasts so long. I don't think you need all 6 shades for sure. I only bought 6 shades to review. My favorite everyday shade is Pink Soap, and when I really want like a flush of pink, I really like Mountain Walk. And the other shade that I quite like as well is Dante's Dream, because that's kind of like a corally nude sort of color. The other 3 shades, honestly, I feel like I could take it or leave it. Okay, another classic, Glossier Cloud Paint. I really like mixing these 2 shades together because Dawn is such a bright orange, but Dusk is just really beautiful nude. These are so old, I've gotta say, and they are definitely technically expired, but I don't know, do I want to get rid of them? Probably not, just because they're really pretty. They are really, really pretty. Right? Yeah. Also, if they still work fine, I don't see any reason to, like, if they smell fine, they look fine, they wear fine, I'm not gonna get rid of it. This is such an underrated product. Daniel Sandler Watercolor Liquid Blush. This is, again, another old product in my collection. I don't know if they sell it anymore, but he's got these in lots of different shades, and this is just a really perfect pink. You can see it's super liquidy, but don't let that put you off because it blends like a dream. It just gives your skin this beautiful flush to it. And I don't hear anyone talking about it except Shelby Wilson on YouTube. She loves these as well. So I learned about this product from Sam and Nick Chapman, the founder of Real Techniques, and they love this. I bought it and I love it as well. Really, really underrated, really pretty. Now something that's not so good is the Ciate London Dewy Blush Glossy Cheek Tint. This goes on like oil. It lifts up everything you have underneath it. You can wear this if you don't wear foundation, but if you wear concealer or foundation, this is not going to be your friend. And it just doesn't set. No, it does make your skin look incredibly dewy. Like, can't argue with that, but I don't think it's worth it. There are plenty of other things that make your skin look dewy without lifting it all up. Can you see? It's just sort of like a bit of oil emollient that is on the skin. So I really dislike this. Linda Hallberg. So this is kind of like a multi-use product. You can use it on your cheek, you can use it on your eyes, you can use it on your lips, and the shade is Dusty Pink. Again, I quite like using this as a blush. It's a very cool toned sort of pink. Really pretty nude. Lastly, the super hyped Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Wand, and mine's in the shade Peachgasm. I got this in a mystery box. I do really like it, but I feel like maybe so much product gets stuck there, and I've hardly used this. I mean, I've used this a handful of times, and already the tube is super flat, and I feel like I'm almost running out. But otherwise, I do think it's a good product. It gives your skin a really glow. It's definitely like one of those blushes that is kind of like a highlighter as well, so you don't need to wear a highlighter when you wear this. But you probably know so much about this already that you don't need me to tell you whether this is good or not. Why do I have so many blushes? Seriously, what is this? This is a problem, is what this is. I don't know how I'm gonna use up all of these blushes. It is definitely just not necessary. Let's start off with the ColourPop ones. So I've got these 6 ColourPop like Disney blushes, and I'm not gonna lie, I bought it for the packaging. I don't even think I've actually used this on my face. And the reason is I don't actually like ColourPop blushes that much, I've discovered. I think they're a little bit too pigmented. You have to be a little bit careful about how much you apply, what brush you use. And also quite a lot of them are super glittery as well. Oh, this is a highlighter. 3 Disney princess blushes. They are not my favorite. Right, I've got 2 of these Sailor Moon blushes in different colors. I kept the carton packaging because this is, again, I bought it for the packaging because I freaking love Sailor Moon and I definitely don't regret this. I'm not going to declutter this ever because, you know, look at Luna. Look at Luna. I don't think I'll use this. I might just use one and just keep the other one completely pristine. And another Colourpop blush. This was on sale and I bought it because of the colour. So this is Night Bloom. It's a very vibrant pink and I don't have any colour like this in my collection, hence bought this. With Colourpop blushes, I really do think you have to have a really light hand because they're just a bit too pigmented. My favourite blush brush is the Mike Kitco, my blush polisher, because it just picks up everything with a light hand and you can really just lightly dust things on the face. Okay, now onto some powder blushes I really enjoy. So, Ciate. Ciate London really does do great base products and powder products. So these are the two blushes I have from them. This is like an hourglass dupe. It looks glowy on the skin. There is no learning curve to applying it. You just put a brush in and put it on your face and it looks beautiful. It is that easy. Like, both of these shades are really, really pretty. I don't know if they still do this one. I mean, Ciate London, like, their stock is weird. I feel like they're always having a sale. It's just like, go look on their website. I'll link them if I can and just have a browse around. I really think this is an underrated brand in many ways. Another classic, Clinique Cheek Pop. No one talks about Clinique anymore. This used to have like a flower imprint on it, but you can see I do use this quite a lot. So the imprint has definitely disappeared. The shade I have is Melon Pop and it's just a pretty coral that will go with most makeup looks I wear. Becca blushes, I have the shade Wild Honey and Songbird. They're both pretty neutral blushes, kind of more orangey nude toned, and they are nice, but again, I bought it when they were closing down. I feel like maybe I was going to miss out if I don't buy their products. They're okay blushes. Charlotte Tilbury Chic to Chic, Cheek to Chic, Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic, Ecstasy. Again, a really easy, like, going blush. I really like it when you don't have to think about blush. You just put a brush in, you put it on your face and everything is good to go. And this blush definitely gives me that. Really like it. Looks glowy, doesn't look powdery. Definitely just beautiful on the skin. Kiko Milano. So I bought this when I was just looking for a blush that almost looked like a bronzer. So it's very, very nudie. And this is like pretty powdery. It does have a little bit of kickback, but it's got a beautiful glow to it. It blends super easy on the skin. And like I said before, Kiko Milano is definitely underrated. 3 Pat McGrath Divine blushes. The 3 shades that I have are Divine Rose, Flirtations, and Desert Orchid. I basically tried to pick 3 shades that were really different from each other. I think Flirtations is probably my favorite one just because it's so easy to wear. So these are the shades. So I feel like this is kind of like a bronzy nudie shade. This is your classic kind of cool toned pink. And this is just a shade that you can wear with anything because it's quite light. I mean, for my skin tone anyway, it's quite light. It's neutral. It's almost like nothing, but adds a little bit of something. They are fine. I don't really think they're worth the price tag. I think that I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury blush, to be quite frankly honest with you. 2 babies left. NARS Orgasm. I mean, I feel like if you're a makeup lover, you probably have NARS Orgasm in your collection because it's just a classic product as well. I went through a period where I really liked this, but now I'm not sure if I do. Maybe it's like the glitter, maybe the glitter is too chunky. I mean, I remember watching people saying that it is, but at the time I was like, no, it's not too chunky. It's fine. Just give your skin a beautiful glow. But now I'm not so sure. And finally, Milani Luminoso. Oh god. Hey, this is just like old school YouTube. It really makes me miss the old school YouTube. This is a beautiful blush. Actually applies very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury blush. Beautiful glow, and it's got less glitter particles than NARS Orgasm. Okay, let's go through the liquid blushes first. I'm just gonna pick up Becca. This is really weird. I don't like it. It's discontinued, and you know what, Becca, you can go down with this product because it's so weird. It smells funny. I don't like it. It's super fragrant, super metallic. I don't know why anyone would put this on their face. On the body, okay, but on the face, hella no. Now, onto something I actually do like. These Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Elevated Glow. I have mine in Cosmic Rose and Crystal Nebula. I'm kind of interested in the shady Pink Moon, but honestly, I don't need any more highlighters, so I'm definitely not going to get it. But this is just a very pretty, glowy. It's not super metallic. It just gives your skin a really nice glow. It's got very similar vibe to the Charlotte Tilbury, but I almost feel like this is more of a highlighter than a under the foundation type of primer product. I really enjoy wearing this as a liquid highlighter, and I don't find it to lift up my foundation either, which is another bonus. And it doesn't feel sticky. It really is just, again, like Lisa Eldridge products are honestly very, very good. And this feels super luxe as well with the matte glass bottle. This is the Kevyn Aucoin Glass Glow. Glass Glow. Like, remember that? Glass skin. Everyone wanted glass skin. So this is nice in that it does give my skin a very, very pretty dew, especially on camera. But in real life, it can be a little bit of a sticky mess. It is a really thick product. You can see it does give the skin a really beautiful glow. But at the same time, you can see kind of glitter particles. This is not a product that I would recommend. I don't hate it, but at the same time, I don't think it's amazing. Mine's the shade Solar Quartz. Maybe other shades will be better, but this shade, I can see the gold glitters. It doesn't set, it remains a little bit tacky, which is not ideal either. Marc Jacobs again, Dewdrops, discontinued. And then another Ciate London product, Dewy Sticks. I really, really like this. So this does give your skin just that beautiful, balmy glow. Like, yeah, sure, it's a little bit sticky, but I can put up with it because of the effect that it gives. Can you see the difference between the Ciate and the Kevyn Aucoin? How that is just glowy and shiny without glitter, and you can see all the glitter here on the Kevyn Aucoin side. Like, it's such a beautiful product. I don't actually find it to be too disturbing on the base, which is weird because I feel like this is very similar to that dewy blush, but for some reason, like, I can handle it with this product. If you're looking for just a plain shine type of product, I do think this is pretty good. And it's cheaper than, you know, like Dennis & Meyrick's Dew Balm. Oleography in the glow stick. Double-sided. One side is like the Ciate. I feel like this one maybe is a little bit more oily, but the effect is not as obvious. And the other side is just like a stick highlighter. I don't think it's anything special. And I think this product from Bodyography is kind of underwhelming. I know that, you know, they're more well known for their kind of like glitter pots. This product is okay. So I also have this random NARS Orgasm Illuminator. They just have orgasm everything, let's be honest. This is too dark on my skin. It's not quite a bronzer type of dark, but it's definitely way too dark as a highlighter. And then it's not really like a blushy kind of shade either because there isn't really that much pigment to it. It's just kind of like a glowy product. So it's weird. Like, I don't know how to use it. So it's just like, so this product is just in a weird limbo where I can't use it as a bronzer. It doesn't quite work as a blush and definitely too dark for a highlighter. So yeah. Okay, now we get to talk about powder highlighters. Honestly, counting my makeup is not good. Becca classic ones. This is Moonstone. And of course, I've got Champagne Pop. So again, I got these when Becca was shutting down because these were so hyped. And honestly, I don't like them. I really don't. I feel like they're just super metallic. They emphasize my texture and my pores. Why was everyone going crazy about them? Like, seriously, why? And now this is another Becca highlighter. It's a completely different shade. It's a pinky type of highlighter, and I actually like this one. I don't like Moonstone or Champagne Pop, but this one I feel like is a little bit more subtle. It doesn't emphasize my pores, it doesn't emphasize my texture. Colourpop Wisp Super Shock Highlighter. I have Flexitarian as well, but that was way too bright for me, so I sold that. Wisp, yeah, it's alright. It's gold. I don't reach for it, to be honest, because it's like a weird formula, right? You sort of have to use your finger to apply it in order to really get it buffed into the skin, so then it becomes a little bit of a mess. You can't use a brush to pick it up. I'm just really not a fan. There's Nabla Skin Glazing in Ozone. It's a very pretty pale champagne highlighter. I don't have any complaints about it, but I don't feel like it's super special. Like, it's a pretty reliable product, but it's not one of my favorites. Now, one of my favorite though is the Hourglass trio of highlighters. I don't know how they made this, but this highlighter in the strobe light formula, it just gives my skin amazing glow without it looking too metallic, without it looking too obvious, without it emphasizing my pores or my texture. I don't know why, but this works, and this is my favorite. Pat McGrath Labs. Which shade is this? I don't know how many highlighters she's got now. This says it's Luna Nude. I do like this, and I feel like this is, again, one of these like products that's a bit bougie, because I mean, look at the packaging, right? That is pretty luxe. And the highlighter itself as well has this embossing on it, and I have used this a few times and I do really like it. Wow, it's so glowy. It is really beautiful. There are a lot of different dimensions to it. Can you see like bits of blue in there? Really, really beautiful highlighter. And I feel like the shade as well is really good for my skin tone, because it's not too bright, but it's not dark either. Because sometimes highlighters can look like a stripe if you're not matching it to your skin tone in a proper way. This is Melt Cosmetics Illumination Highlighter. And I definitely bought it a little bit because of the packaging, because of the skull and things. It's super cool. And also, this is my only duochrome highlighter. And again, look at the packaging. I've used it a few times where some of the embossment have come off. It's so beautiful. And I think duochrome highlighter is definitely not for everyone, but sometimes I wear this just for a little bit of fun. And of course, we can't forget about these Colourpop highlighters as well, but like this one is definitely too dark for me. This one is too light for me, and this one is a weird colour. Oh my god. Face palettes. Let's start off with this NYX Sweet Cheeks blush palette. I don't know if you can still get this, but even if you could, I don't recommend it. The highlighters are weird shades. I don't feel like they work on me, and they're not amazing highlighters. They sort of like look a bit like a powdery mess, to be honest. And the blushes, sorry NYX, I'm being so hush. The blushes are way too pigmented. I like something that I can build up, but this is like one dip and it's just insane. There's too much pigment. I really don't like that. So not a favorite. The Linda Hallberg Infinity palette in the shade Light. So this is a palette with highlighters, blushes, bronzers, and a matte black, which is really awesome. You can use these as eyeshadows as well. So for the face, it's really good, other than this weird mustardy brown shade, but every other shade is just beautiful. You've got this like cool tone brown as well, which is, great for sculpting. It's super cool toned. And then you have this shade, which is kind of like a setting powder shade, but you can sort of like mix these three together. You can mix the blushes together, the highlighters as well. These are really pretty highlighters as well. They're very shiny without looking metallic. Okay. The Manonizer Sisters, you can't get this anymore. TheBalm, I miss TheBalm. I really like this little palette. When I was at university and I went to visit my boyfriend, who's not my husband, I used this as an eyeshadow, this as a blush, and this as a highlighter, and it's just easy. I only have one of these Hourglass palettes because I feel like once you have one, it's kind of having them all, because let's be honest, it's gonna take a while to get through it, and I got like a little bit of pan here. It's because I tend to mix these two shades together when I use it to set my face, and with the bronzer I mix these two because otherwise I feel like the bronzer is just a little bit too warm. I don't know why all of Hourglass bronzers have this like really warm undertone. This highlighter is very subtle, very pretty. Like, yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with an Hourglass holiday palette. Got this for the packaging because look at it, it's so cool. And it's got the Laguna bronzer, the Orgasm blush, and the highlighter. This highlighter looks like it might work for me, but it's actually too dark because when I turn my face, look at the front, you can see the stripe. I don't need to say anything about these two. Laguna bronzer is one of my favorite bronzers of all time. Bought this for the packaging as well, and I need to use this more. Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. Like, this is a good product as well. Both of these products are very subtle, which is nice, you know? It's just easy makeup. We don't have to worry about it. You apply it and it will look good. If you watch my all-time favorite makeup video, you'll know about this product. I love it. I really do love it so much. And this is a Kevyn the Face Palette Volume 2. You can see cream highlighter, cream bronzer. I love both. You can see how much I've used this. Powder highlighter, again, huge pan there. I love it. It just gives the most subtle glow, but like it's not so subtle that you can't see it. You can see it, but it's just, it just looks good. It looks so good. And the sculpting powder as well, there's a pretty big dip here, and this is slightly less cool toned than the Linda Hallberg, so it's a bit easier to wear. Can you see? Like the Linda Hallberg is just a little bit more grey.